What is up, guys, and welcome back to Marv on Air. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the 2022-2023 NFL season is officially behind us. Super Bowl 57 wrapped up last weekend, and unfortunately, we don't have anything else to talk about as far as that season goes. We are looking forward now only into the future, and for the next 6 months, it's all going to be speculation. So why not kick it off early with a way too early tier ranking of how I think the teams are going to end up next year. I know that we're not even close to through free agency or the draft or any sort of trades. All that kind of stuff is definitely going to happen and change these rankings. But based on where I think they are right now, what I saw from last season, all of those kinds of things, we're going to go ahead and try to tier these guys up into just general Super Bowl favorites, contenders, wild card guys, probably not going to be in the playoffs, and guys that are fighting for the number one pick in the next draft. So let's go ahead and jump right on into that. Before we do, be sure to check us out, follow us on our, give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. And then, check us out on our Twitter and Instagram, all that stuff. So let's jump right into it with the Cardinals, okay? Cardinals, dude, it's hard to put them anywhere because they just are horrible. They got their new head coach, Shane Steichen, from the Eagles, and Kyler Murray will eventually be back. I think they will be playing spoiler, though. I do not see them doing anything with this roster. J.J. Watt retired, and it seems like they're just kind of cursed. I don't really know what their deal is. They can never seem to put things together. I don't really want to touch on them too long because they're bad. Falcons. All right, now when you look at the NFC South from last year, okay, the whole division was 7-10, and the Bucs just barely eked into the playoffs with a negative record. So I'm not saying they can't make anything happen. Obviously, Tom Brady is out of Tampa Bay. Desmond Ridder didn't play great, but he didn't play horrible. So I think I'm going to put them in the wild card. Actually, let's put them at top of playing spoiler because I could see maybe the Saints making a move. And I think I'll put the Saints in the wild card, but I think that whole NFC South is going to be pure garbage again this year. All right, let's go to the Ravens. Okay, now this is a pivotal one. It really just depends on where Lamar goes, right? So Lamar, if he resigns, I think their divisional round. No. If he resigns, I'll put him in the wild card. Top of wild card. If he doesn't resign with them, they got to be playing spoiler. But I like them there. I think they're pretty much a playoff team no matter what somehow, which always seems weird. The NFC or the AFC North it's tight, but they're like a second place team, right? They finished 10-7, second place in the NFC North behind a very good Bengals team. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like them any higher than that. The Bills, now this one's tough because they're kind of like the Cowboys. They just always get so close and they can't get over the hump. So I'll put them as contenders for the divisional round. I don't think they're going to be AFC championship contenders by any means, but they are definitely one of the better teams in the NFL right now. Now, the Panthers are another tough one because I don't think they have anything good on their roster. Maybe like that linebacker that they refused to trade away for some reason. So I'm going to put them at playing spoiler again. Seems like we've got a lot of these teams right now. Bears. Okay. Justin Fields just came out and said that he wishes Chicago had a dome. Kind of sounds like he wants out of there. I think, obviously they've got the number one pick. A lot of teams could potentially be fighting for that, like with some trades and such. We saw Jim Irsay come out and basically tell everyone what he was doing in the draft. I'm going to go ahead, put them one rank above where they were this year. Obviously, they have the number one pick, so they were in this category all year long. Let's put them at the bottom of playing spoiler, right? That NFC North is a pretty tight division now with the Vikings apparently looking pretty good. Green Bay is most certainly moving on from Rodgers, whether Rodgers plays at all next season or not. I think Jordan Love will be the starter, so that could be – I thought he was zipping that ball around. We'll get into the Packers, obviously, when we get down to them. But, I think the NFC North with the Lions too in there is going to be a very tight division. I think they'll be certainly in the playing spoiler category, definitely not in the wild card round in my opinion. The Bengals. Now, this one is one I like them at Super Bowl favorites, and you guys are going to be like, no, that's wrong. They've been up there for too long. and it's time for them to start to see a decline. No, I think that the Bengals are one of those teams, especially when they're headed by Joey Burrow, that they can stick around, they can stay in it year in, year out, and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all these guys, they'll find a way to get everybody important on the team, and then whoever has to leave and they get in these new guys, I think they're gonna really solidify that team. I like them as a Super Bowl favorite for sure. The Browns, I feel like they are another spoiler. I mean, it really depends on Deshaun Watson, right? They have a pretty solid roster outside of Watson. But like I've been saying, that AFC North is a very weirdly tight division. So I'm going to put them in the playing spoiler as well, just because if the Bengals are Super Bowl favorites and I have the Ravens at wild card, we're not going to see 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. I know that for a fact. So I like them there. Cowboys, such a weird team. We'll put them in the wild card, bottom of wild card, because you never know. They're probably going to make the playoffs. I mean, the Eagles were solid this year. I don't think we've seen it. When was the last time we saw an NFC East divisional champion repeat? It's not very often. I know it's very rare. So I suppose Cowboys could come away with the division there. They'll definitely get in the playoffs. They just love to get in to lose. I think that's what they like their goal at the start of every year. So I like them in the wild card. I don't think they're contending for everything though. They're not contending for anything really. So I'm not going to put them any higher. Now the Broncos are a hard one with Sean Payton. I like them as man. I feel like these top 3 tiers are just so elite, right? That it's hard to put these guys outside a spoiler. So I'm not gonna be persuaded by having 6 teams in spoiler. Okay, I don't think these teams are gonna amount to much this next year. Maybe I should have added more tiers, but at this point, I'm still gonna keep going with what we've got. And I really don't think the Broncos are gonna be contending for anything. Not in 1 year with Sean Payton. I don't think he's gonna turn around that quickly. So, especially when you look at the AFC West, you've got Chiefs and Chargers in there, and those two, I thought the Chargers were underrated this year, but and the Raiders, I think they'll probably be the bottom of the pack. But the Broncos, that does not mean they're getting in the wild card. Now the Lions are a different story. All right, I like them in the wild card for sure, and I'm gonna put them at the top. I'm tempted to put them into the divisional round contenders, but I won't for now, just because. Actually, yeah, I will. I'll put them at the bottom of this tier. Heck yeah. They murdered it this year. They just need to keep the ball rolling, right? That's what great teams do. They came into and at the end of the year they just kept that momentum high. I think they have like a dog mentality with Dan Campbell as their coach. I love it. I actually do like them that high. All right. Now the Packers, depends on Jordan Love, right? So I'm gonna put them. This one might be a hot take, maybe not, but I'm gonna put them at top of playing spoiler yet again, right? We're filling up this category, and it's just because Vikings and Lions are so strong, right? I don't think they will turn it around. They didn't even make the playoffs this year, and they did have Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that was the reason they didn't make the playoffs. I don't know, but I don't like them any higher than that. Okay, and we'll go through and restructure this category. I'm just kind of getting them in the tiers for now. Texans are definitely a playing spoiler. I definitely should have added more tiers now that I'm thinking about this. But hey, we'll get into that here. I wonder if we'll see. Colts, okay. These guys, actually, I haven't even put anyone in the fighting for number 1 pick. Let's put the Colts down here. Okay, and we can honestly put the Panthers down here too. I'm going to leave the Texans up there just because their division is so bad. They are not a solid team by any means. But the Colts, I don't think get it turned around with a new head coach. I think their quarterback issues still loom heavy over that organization. Sam Ellinger might be the guy, but they don't have an answer, and I have a hard time putting them any higher than that. They have a loaded roster, and that's what's weird. They should have been at least in the playoffs, a real team this year, and they didn't. So that's kind of why I have to put them so low. They can't seem to figure out what they need to do to be a real team. Okay, now this one I'm excited about. These Jaguars here, I like them high. I like them maybe not ahead of the Bills, but definitely in the divisional round. They looked solid this year. Obviously, they got that comeback win against the Chargers in the first round, and they finished the year strong. I think they had like 8 or 9 wins in a row. I like the Jags. I like that they're finally starting to find some rhythm with Trevor, and I think going into next year with a better game plan, they'll end up with a much better record. I think they finished this year with 9-8. Not the best record in the playoffs, but enough to win the NFC or AFC South. They definitely don't have a lot of competition there. Yikes. The other 3 teams amounted to 14 wins total, unlike the next team we're about to talk about that had 14 wins on their own. So I definitely think they are divisional round contenders, not just playoff, sneaking in guys. So I like them that high. Now, the Chiefs, if you're not saying the Chiefs are Super Bowl favorites, you might need to do a little check in the mirror. Because, look, I'm not a huge Chiefs lover, but I at least know they are a very real threat for the next 10 to 15 years. As long as Patrick Mahomes is alive, basically. Travis Kelce being on that team is a huge deal, too. But I'm going to put them as a Super Bowl favorite, I think. I don't really know if there's another team I could put ahead of them just because of how dominant they were kind of all year. The Eagles obviously will be close behind them, but I think they are probably my Super Bowl favorite as of right now, just because of what we saw from Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people were talking about how they didn't think the Chiefs, like during their parade, the Chiefs were like, "Oh, everyone doubted us. No one thought we would make the playoffs." Okay, look, no, I don't remember that, but I do remember everybody saying the AFC West is going to be so loaded that the Chiefs might have a harder path this year. The AFC West did not end up being loaded, but Patrick Mahomes did not have the best team, right? When you compare roster-wise what he had compared to the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos at the beginning of the year, everyone was counting Kansas City to be maybe third place in that division, and Patrick Mahomes brought out the best in everyone on that team. Andy Reid, unbelievable play caller. So that's why I think I'm going to have to keep them that high, just because of the talent. It does not matter really what their roster is. All those players are NFL players, right? We've talked about that on the show. The fact that Patrick Mahomes can bring out the best in them, kind of like Tom Brady used to do, makes me a little scared of the Chiefs, and for that reason, I have to put them at number 1. Now, the Chargers in that same division here, it's a tough one. I think they're a wild card team again. I think they're probably bottom of the pack. They sneak in, they barely get anything done, and we need to really start evaluating Justin Herbert at this point in his career. But they're not a loud team, right? They're kind of cursed. I don't mind them there. LA is a dumpster fire right now. What does that mean for next year is very hard to tell. Okay. Now the Rams, they finished second in the NFC West. They're 9-8, but it was probably the ugliest second place finish. I'm looking at all these teams here. I mean, other than like the Panthers, or the Titans, who ended on like an 8-game losing streak. I don't think they're definitely the ugliest second place finish. So, I think they are a spoiler team. Honestly, they're not anything special. I don't like where they're at, and I don't think they're in a spot where they can really make some changes that are going to boost the team quite a bit. Now the Raiders, okay, I don't know too much about what's going to happen here. Obviously, quarterback position is a huge question mark. Are they going to get Jimmy G? Are they going to go with Stidham? Stidham looked fine. He looked a lot more comfortable in the system compared to Derek Carr. I will say, looking at the AFC West with the Chiefs up here, and I have the Chargers in the wild card. Let's put them in spoiler. I don't like any as a wild card team. Dolphins, okay. Quarterback, yet again, huge question mark. What are we gonna do with Tua concussion boy? I don't know. I think let's put them in the wild card. when you look at the AFC. Actually, no. There's a lot of AFC East teams left, Patriots and the Jets, and based on where I've got those two at, Dolphins can't be that high. They won't be fighting for number one pick, but they will just be eking out of the playoffs. Vikings are divisional round contenders for sure. Should they be? No. But they somehow find a way to always stay alive in these dumb games, and I think it's mostly their head coach. Depends on if Kirk is going to come back. I'm assuming he will. And then obviously Justin Jefferson's going to keep you in any game. Adam Thielen, dog. Dalvin Cook, dog. Like, they have a decent defense. Not the best, but, I mean, not the worst either. I think they're definitely a divisional round contender, and they'll kind of learn from their mistakes this year. The Patriots, obviously my favorite team here, trying not to be biased, depends on our offseason moves. We have a lot of holes to fill. I don't think the AFC East will be a 3-team playoff division. I think they're probably going to end up like right around here, somewhere in this top of the middle of playing spoiler. And right now, it's honestly like I'm kind of treating this as playoffs versus non-playoffs, and then I'm going to sort the non-playoffs here in a second. Saints, if they get Derek Carr, they could be a weapon, but they won't. They won't be a weapon. Man, these guys are just... Maybe I'm just not putting any trust in these teams. Maybe I don't know football. Maybe I don't know anything. So the Giants, they're definitely a wild card team. Definitely ahead of the Ravens. They look pretty good this year. It looks like Danny Dimes and Saquon are going to be coming back. The two kind of heart of that team. Sterling Shepard did get released, but he wasn't playing all year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I like him there. What do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's 4 other teams that could be in the playoff right now. Definitely should have added another tier. Now, one of those teams actually is going to be the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be divisional round contenders. I do. That puts 2 AFC East teams in there. I'll put them ahead of the Vikings. I think they were a quarterback away. They were a quarterback away this year, and getting a really solid quarterback, having the whole offseason to train with him, going to be huge for the Jets. All right. Eagles, Super Bowl favorites probably yet again. Jalen Hurts is definitely getting re-signed there. A.J. Brown signing there probably. A lot of weapons. I don't think Jason Kelsey's coming back, which would be a huge detriment to them, but they are still going to be right in that race. I don't mind them there at all. I'm just looking over the board here because I don't think any of these teams that are left are super. Oh, actually the Niners. Yeah, okay. So that'll perfect. That's perfect. Man, you guys are at the beginning of this video. You guys had to be like, this guy doesn't think anybody's gonna make the playoffs, does he? Did I only pick playoff teams? No. No, okay, yeah. No, okay. I like this so far. Steelers. I think they'll end up playing spoiler. Let's see here. They finished 3rd at 9-8. Mike Tomlin stays winning, but actually depends mostly on Lamar, right? So if Lamar doesn't sign with the Ravens, which I am seeing a lot of things that he won't, like why wouldn't he? I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't sign with the Ravens, but if he doesn't, he is pivotal, right? So that would push the Steelers in and the Ravens down. For now, I'm going to leave it like this because I think Lamar will sign with the Ravens. But if Lamar doesn't, I don't see the Steelers beating him out with how tight that division is because the Browns just love to beat up on NFC or AFC North teams, and then they never do anything outside of the division. But I think this is probably the right move for the Steelers, not sorted correctly, just in this tier. Seahawks, I will put them at the wild card, and that's going to end up with an extra team in this playoff bracket here. Right? We've got 5, 10. No, okay. Yeah, that's right? There's 14 teams in the playoffs? No, that's totally fine then. Okay. Yeah, because then I like the 49ers as a favorite. And then, so we've got 10 and 14. That's all the teams in the playoffs, and you're not telling me any three of these are going to be in the playoffs. That's for sure. Yeah, I like that. So Seahawks, Geno Smith, some more time. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, complete dudes. And then when you look at that division, The Niners and the Seahawks both top. They Seahawks finished third, I think, in the West this year. Did they? They did not make the playoffs, did they? Or do I have their record down wrong? I might have made an error, but either way, no, they did make the playoffs. They got throttled, right? I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. It's too early for this stuff, man. But either way, I'm actually tentative on this. This might get moved. So Bucks definitely playing spoiler. I think potentially even fighting for number one pick. None of these three teams are in the playoffs. Who can? All right, now let's try to sort this out. Okay, let's go. Interesting. I think the Dolphins just missed the playoffs. Patriots a little further behind them. Right, they're back here. Raiders probably gonna miss the playoffs by a handle, by a decent amount. I think the Bears gonna miss by a decent amount. Packers, yeah. Washington's probably gonna end up staying way down. The Rams, I have a hard time believing they'll stay in the fighting for number one pick tier for that long. Like, they were kind of trash this year, even though they weren't actually fighting for number one pick. They were kind of bad. And I don't think they'll stay that bad. I think they'll improve. So they'll have to stay in here. We'll put them a little higher. Not higher than the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to be a real team with Sean Payton. Russell Wilson might actually find his groove. Could be Nathaniel Hackett's doing that really tanked him there. Just that it wasn't a good mesh. I'm not saying Nathaniel Hackett isn't a good coach, just that the mesh wasn't quite there. I don't think the Texans get out of the pit. I don't. I don't think the Bears get out of the pit, and I don't think let's see here. The hard thing is that the NFC South is so equally bad that they can all win games against each other, and it's hard to really bing, bing, bing. Do we have an NFC North team or an NFC South team in the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bears, or Bucks? Saints, Falcons, Panthers. Oh my gosh, one of these teams has to be in the playoffs. God. Well, there's no Tom Brady's. We don't know who's going to be coaching for the Saints. Probably we don't know for the Panthers either. I think out of all these teams, it's either the Saints or the Falcons. And with potentially Derek Carr going to the Saints, I could see them eking in. So let's swap these two, kind of like that. And it's really just because Saints are going to win their division. And, I mean, the NFC West is a tough one with 49ers. And I think the Cardinals, they like to play spoiler. That's exactly why they're in the playing spoiler category. And then, yeah. So I don't mind that. Let's go bing, bing. We'll put in, just missing here. I like LA right probably around here. Let's do one more team in the fighting for number one pick, and then we can just call it a day. Let's go Cardinals. I like that. Or Browns. No, not the Browns. Maybe, no. I could see any of these teams, dude. Let's go Cardinals. That way we get everything into one line. So this is murky waters, in my opinion. And this up here is probably kind of the same thing. Obviously, these four, separate tier and everything else. It's just so hard to predict things that far in advance. So I don't mind that. It's not perfect. It's not horrible. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you absolutely hated that list or if you actually agree. We'll see. Let me know. And be sure, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like it, all that kind of good stuff. Be sure to check us out on our socials. And, yeah, have a good day, dude.